Parliament moved into day 4 of the debate on the President's address. Several ministers provided updates on defence and the public service, and one also stood up to defend the CPF system, which has been mentioned in many speeches in the last 4 days. Parliament was today told that suggestions to revamp national service in line with changing times will cost the government about $4.5 billion over the next decade if they are implemented. But Defence Minister Ng Eng Hen says it will be money well spent. The recommendations were made by a committee headed by Dr. Ng.
The proposals to strengthen national service in Singapore will require significant investments, but the Defence Minister believes it will be money well spent.
The committee believes that this set of recommendations strike the right balance in responding to the needs of national servicemen and allowing them to contribute more as national servicemen and volunteers. The committee therefore recommends that the government accept and fully support these recommendations, and I hope members of this House will endorse that.
Some of the proposals that have been submitted to the government include shortening the wait time for pre-enlistees before enlistment, allowing women, first-generation PRs and new citizens to serve in a volunteer corps, and enhancing housing as well as medical benefits for NSmen. The shorter wait time for enlistment could be implemented as early as the middle of next year. The target is to have up to 90% of pre-enlistees starting NS within 4 months of finishing their post-secondary education.
I say this very quickly, but I will tell you my SAF commanders are sweating over this, because they're juggling it. Each batch is about 5, 6, 7,000, and they're wondering, how do we do this? But they've studied it, they're confident that they can do it. We give them the full support. If government accepts it, we see some changes.
On concerns raised by members that enlistees in the volunteer corps will be less committed than NSmen, Dr. Ng gave this response.
It may be so, but we ought to let this scheme evolve and not judge it prematurely. The volunteers will be trained and meaningfully deployed. The Singapore Police Force and the SCDF have operated the Volunteer Special Constabulary and Civil Defence Auxiliary Unit respectively for a much longer time. The SAF was actually cheered on by the fact that they had positive experiences and boosted our confidence that we could do something.
The second half of Dr. Ng's speech was devoted to the issue of Malays in the SAF, an issue that was raised by several MPs during the course of the 4-day debate. Now, Dr. Ng said there's been much progress made with Malays being deployed to all services within the SAF, not because of their race, but because of their capabilities. Dr. Ng said to take any action based on race, even if it is affirmative action, puts Singapore on a path of tokenism, and no one, not even Malays, want that.
Many of these senior Malay commanders have been asked to profile themselves by the Malay community. The Malay community is proud of them. They want to erase some misconceptions. They say, we want to profile you. But the Malay commanders tell me, they reply, why should I do so? Why should I push myself out? In the SAF, I have been promoted because of what I've accomplished and I'm capable of, and not because I'm Malay. No one purposely draws attention to my race within the SAF. And these Malay commanders, senior commanders, want to keep it that way. I think these words from Malay senior commanders spoken in private are the most eloquent public statement of how far we have come and how we must continue to progress.
Dr. Ng said the SAF will continue to expand opportunities for all Singaporeans regardless of race or religion.